The fucking recording got interrupted briefly. Spider-Man had to don his latest underwear apparel. Wednesday, 1447, 1960, 2024, 4th by April 24th day. Couple more days will be full moon. And this is a continuation from the last film that got interrupted. Beaver Dam relocations. Beaver dams. Beaver Dam is just another way to channel water. To channel water. Now, channels are also found on television and radio stations. And backyard conversations are a channel. Channel. It's a flowing river. It provides circulation. Any type of audit, communication, dance move, eyebrow lift, stare down, butthole point, foot lift, whatever the fuck, body action or intentional thought. It's all circulation. It's all a channel. It's all communication. It's saying something. Even if someone wrote Webster's dictionary and said it's not saying something. It's not saying something. Well, that's a rope that sailors use to tie ships down to a dock that have been found out at sea with no captain on them. And so the hospital doctor says, "Look, I found a ship at sea. There's no flag flying on it." He goes to the judge. The judge says, "Well, we got letters of marque here. The attorney says you can have it if you want it. Just give him a cut." Or he won't, and that way he won't sick his dog on you. So, so even that's a communication. Even if it's not a communication, that not is still a communication. Whether you like it or not. Non-communication is still communication. What do you got to say? Sicily brother turned he/she's head the other way and stared off into the yonder. I ain't saying shit. Not. He just spoke louder than shit could ever speak. He said 100 things and 3,000 encyclopedias 5 inches thick each. Once one gets done interpreting what is actually being said right there, with the big knot turn, the turn of the screw and the twist of the key. But like I said, usually after the back has been wrenched to the point where all of a sudden the mouth says, "All right, I have to open the fuck up and vent, because this is quite painful." Walking around the backyard with a sore ass fucking back just because someone decided it was a nice idea to send a fucking ice storm and trim the tree to provide firewood for the next ice storm. Where would life be without someone pressing a button? Where would life be without someone pressing a button? Well, I guess we'd have another Israel attack. Of course, you know, whatever the fuck, Hezbollah, where the fuck that's called, him and fucking Netanyahu are on the same fucking team. They got all the fucking money in the world to go hire another fucking few thousand slaves to rebuild fucking everything, because they sure as fuck didn't get their palaces blown up. And they sure don't like to blow each other's palaces up. That's an easy way to figure out that everybody's on the same team. And if they do blow up each other's palaces, be damn sure they did it fucking on purpose, because they still got some more slaves to go hire to build another palace, because they're tired of the old one. They want a new updated one. So either whether they blow up each other's palace or not, it doesn't fucking matter. See, and then when people figure this out, that they voted for these guys at the top to go around destroying shit all fucking day whenever they fucking feel like it, to put on a show, a nice Hollywood show for the peasants. Because where would a peasant be if he didn't live in fear? If a peasant wasn't living in fear, then things wouldn't seem quite normal at all. Peasant needs to live in fear. And part of living in fear is being in pain and suffering. Those are the three big brothers that like to sit around on the beach all fucking day and talk to each other. Fear, pain, and suffering. And the reason is because it's been normalized. That's the only reason. It seems like it's normal. And it seems like they can never change. Seems like it's going to be like that for fucking ever. And I always say, until. I don't even say I don't even say just just until. That would be the United Nations is un. A till is a money box where stolen revenue is put in. Like birth certificate credits at the hospital when the doctor tricks the mother into signing the baby over with a birth certificate application bond, which is one signature piece of paper known as a promissory note on the open market. Then there's a two signature document called a birth certificate where the father doesn't sign and the doctor signs in place of the real father as the new papal bull stepfather or state nanny. That is known as a two-signature document, which is called a legal affidavit, which stands in any legal court until the law shows up. The law. That would be the auditor that exposes what's going on with the grand, wonderful fraud theft. Which isn't a bad thing now. It might seem like a bad thing. But if it wasn't for the grand theft, then people wouldn't realize what's really going on. And then and now that there's an opportunity to realize what's going on, now there's an opportunity to pull oneself up with the bootstraps and get oneself, have opportunity to say, well, fuck, I'm tired of all this fear, pain, and suffering bullshit. And I think I want to face the situation and say my share what's going on around here. I think I want to sit up at the table and speak up and say something what I think what's going around here besides someone else controlling what I should say. Well, and that's what neighborhood backyards are for. That's what neighborhood yard. But if you're a renter, you're going to have a harder time than a purchaser. You're going to have a hard time than a homeowner. And if you're a homeowner, you're going to have one hell of a harder time than a lien holder, a lawful lien holder. It's kind of like baby steps. You go from living on the street behind someone's fence in a backyard under a tree with a beaver dam, you go from that to an apartment renter or a room renter, then you go to apartment renter, and you got roommates, then you graduate to an apartment all by your fucking self, then you graduate to a house with roommates, then you graduate to half a house with roommates, then you start getting rid of the roommates and get into a house for the self, then you rent a house, and then after you're tired of that and you figure out that it isn't worth fucking inviting everybody over to your fucking house, then you go buy a fucking house. But if you fall into the trap a little bit more, you'll probably have a mate and get a house with a mate, and so now you got all kinds of problems there until you get to a house that you can have with just the self and figure out what's going on instead of having to bow down to the mate. Ain't nothing worse than living with a prison cell with a Bubba, living in a prison cell with Bubba, and if you make the wrong move, he's gonna scratch your ass. Ain't nothing like living with prison cell Bubba. So after renting a house, then purchasing a house, then one might want to move up the ladder a little bit more and figure out ask a big question. I wonder what the fuck all these fuckers just fucking starting banks for. They start a fucking bank and then they just fucking put fucking write fucking numbers on a piece of paper and say, I got $1,000 million in the bank. And then convince everybody else to fucking put their money in their bank. And then the question might come up and say, well, how the fuck do I start a fucking bank? I think I can start a bank and just fucking make shit up on a piece of paper and fucking, now that we're in the digital world, just fucking program the fucking computer to say it's got $100 million in the bank. And then convince everybody with a vote for me story and tell them, well, you need jobs and you need to get loans from me so you can go buy stuff if you want to keep up with the Joneses. So after you get a house and you ask that question, you become a homeowner. Now you're paying taxes and insurance and all that shit. Now you got to deal with sheriffs and county board meetings and all that shit. And what's going on? They want to fucking buy your property, move you out, sell your property, force you off the land, all that shit, whatever the fuck they feel like doing. Because, you know, it's just, it ain't no different than renting. That's all tax is. So purchasing a house isn't no different from being a renter. But there is a little bit more respect and there's a little bit more freedom. That's about the only thing. There is a little more respect and there is a little more freedom. They figure if someone has worked hard enough to get up, move up the ladder, to at least be able to bend down before the sheriff, kiss his ring, and give him a piece of the good dollar, 25, 10%, wherever the fuck the church wants, feels the pastor's feeling in that day. He might have a project. He needs everybody to give an extra 9% next month. And he ain't going to say that. He's just going to hint to it. He's just going to say, we got a new project, and he's going to convince everybody that's a great thing. They're all going to clap, sing to Jesus, and they're going to pass the plate, and everybody's going to lick each other to see who's putting in what. That ensures that someone at least puts in a substantial donation in the plate, because no one wants to have a disrupted reputation out in the town now. No one wants to be walking around the town with eyes, everybody looking at them funny. Oh, hell no. They would much rather have that one that voted for them on the pastoral position way at the top, looking at them kind of funny all the time, because, you see, it's been normalized to be looked at funny. And when one is looked at funny, then one automatically starts to kiss and bend and dream and wish and wonder, maybe someday Superman or Jesus will return and all this fucking pain, suffering, and fear shall come to an end. But first, after I die. Oh, there's a new interpretation of Scripture that says, if you believe in Jesus' interpretation of the Scripture, there's a rapture coming and you won't die. And you'll be swept away to meet Jesus in the air and live forever. And everything's going to be happy and dandy. Or Muhammad or Buddha, you have 70 virgins, 80 virgins, however many virgins you want. It doesn't matter if they're human, animal, plant, DNA, GMO, hybrid, electric, electromagnetic, robotic. It doesn't matter as long as they're virgins. Because there ain't nothing worth it getting a child that's already been trained by someone else's program. You need someone to shove a dictionary in their mouth and teach them exactly what you know, and that they're going to obey and abide everything you say once you get to heaven. And if they disobey, you're going to show them Jesus' iron rod. And they'll think twice and bend over. Well, they'll think 3 times. Because this is heaven. You get one more time to think in heaven. That's the only advantage between now and heaven. You'll get one more time to think, and that's it. Holy shit. So, needless to say, this is a country fair situation, because this bike path is just like walking down a path into a private country fair in Veneta, where it comes to Oregon once a year, and everybody drops their tops and their pants and reveals to everyone what life is really like. It ain't no different than neighbors that are living out on streets out here in the roads. It ain't nothing but a future country fair where in everybody's house is actually a shop where they can set up shop and whatever the fuck they want going on with the bringing whatever's private into the public. Eventually, that's the goal, supposedly. Eventually, remember, it's just a goal if one wants to have that goal. There are all kinds of goals besides just that goal. Some people would rather just continue on just the way it is right now, with Biden and Trump in charge and Putin in charge and everybody in charge and wars and money and paying for shit and pain and suffering. Some people love this shit. I mean, God. I mean, there isn't nothing worse than encroaching on someone else's amazement. Isn't nothing worse than having one's amazement encroached upon by someone else that thinks what you need and how you need to live. Ain't nothing worse than being encroached upon. And there ain't nothing worse than stopping what's been normalized and being encroached upon and stopping that. There ain't nothing worse than that when one's used to that. I mean, after all, God, there are enough videos in the private sector on the internet that there are plenty of people that deeply enjoy what's called analysis, expectations. Safely, there's an S there, safely. Analysis, expectations, safely. Some people get hooked on that stuff too. And then prolapses happen. And then people need to watch TV and hope that they can get a hold of the latest Prozac commercial. And they'll come up with all kinds of new names and pills like Nubeca and Quadrasequia and I'll kick your ass. And if you just spend $14.99 and talk to your insurance company, I'll give you a whole bottle, maybe a whole fucking case of fucking stuff it right down your throat. If one examines all the names that these pharmaceuticals are making up and putting on TV, I'm looking at all these names, I'm thinking, holy shit. I wonder how many people see what these fuckers are actually saying here with these made up words that they're calling all these pills. I'm sitting there wondering, God, I wonder how many people see this. Because I can see it's gonna continue, and each one word is gonna become phrases, and they'll be all out sentences, just like being sentenced at a court. And they'll be putting full sentences, selling the pill on television with full sentences, such as, come a little bit closer, asshole, so I can knock your ass out. And there'll be plenty of people that live like that way normally. They'll happily move closer to the TV, and there'll be a real fist come right out of the hologram television and knock their ass out. Just flat out. And they'll be like, I hope I don't wake up from this knockout. Because fear, suffering, and pain will be so normalized, it will be enjoyed so much, and numbing the pain will be enjoyed so much that final knockout is going to be sought after with much diligence. Just knock me the fuck out so I never fucking wake the fuck up and remember anything else again, doctor. Please. And hit me twice. Jesus Christ, where the fuck did all that fucking analysis come from? It just came out of fucking nowhere. Woo! And you know, that's what I call the privilege of moving up the ladder from living on the street to living in apartments to renting apartments to renting houses to buying houses, purchasing houses, to paying houses off, then putting liens on houses, and then joining the club. Joining the club. Now one has a stage and a pedestal from which to speak from, where all the peasants have to have nothing else but to sit there and listen to what the keynote speaker has to say. Except there's one difference. I don't recommend voting. Don't recommend voting. But if one needs to be a devotee and follow someone else, then fucking vote till one's fucking back is content. Just vote. Devotion and devotion and devote and vote and vote and devotion. D. D. What you got there, Daddy? D. What's the D for? You're the debtor, I'm the creditor. Now suck. But Daddy, I learned from YouTube. They said that we don't have to suck no more. Well, that's only if you got some guts. If you ain't got no guts, you might as well continue. Suck it. Or I didn't get in this position because I had guts. I got in this position because I was forced into it. I had no choice but to go this road. Because I took out $150,000 in the properties and then the banks and everything I could take out of the bank, and I went and I traded the financial markets and I lost it all. Now the banks were coming after me. So I watched YouTube enough to know why I was losing all the money, that all I gotta do is write these fuckers an affidavit, stand my fucking ground, and see what happens. So otherwise, they would have took everything from me anyway. So obviously, something is happening because I'm still fucking here. And this place is still here. And it seems like to me that there's some change going on across the whole fucking universe because of it. Now, don't believe me, it's just a story. Never know, it could be what if. I didn't do this because I had guts. I did this because I had no fucking choice. It was either do or die. Because they sure as fuck weren't going to give me no fucking job. Or any money to start a fucking corporation to join their corporate team and have a state permit. That sure as fuck wasn't gonna happen. It was gonna be, well, this fucker's either gonna sink or fucking swim. Let's see what he's got. So obviously, when the boat started getting into low water, brother whipped out the dictionary and started pissing in the river until it got fuller to keep the boat floating. Whipped it right on out. There's a lot to learn in that dictionary. There are so many words to learn in that dictionary to figure out what could be going on around here. One just might wanna. One just might wanna. If one is forced into a situation, because usually most people don't have the guts to step up to the plate and put 5 polished stones in the pocket and go up to the Bible Jesus Goliath and tell him, In the name of the Lord God Almighty, I think you're a big pile of fucking dirt. Taste my rock. I don't think there's very many. Maybe one on the fucking earth. There might be one on the fucking earth. According to the story, there was one. One, and there's out of 8 billion on the fucking earth that stood up to the fucker. Only one. All the rest of them didn't have the guts. They were hoping that someday the Messiah would come to save their ass. So the story goes. It's the most popular story in the whole fucking world. Someone else is going to do the work for me. And I vote for you. I nominate you. And if you don't hold the position, I'm going to go talk to my friends and we'll kill your ass. So it goes both ways. So all these people that get nominated, they ain't got no choice because all the peasants told the fucker, well, if you don't fucking run for office, then we're gonna kill your ass. So it goes both ways. God fucking damn it, we need someone to fucking speak for us. And you're it. So you better get in the boat and start floating and put on some captain's bars and make yourself look like you're something, or else it's over for you and we'll get someone else to do the fucking job. And we'll pay you quite handsomely too. We'll bow down, kiss your ass, kiss your ring, and everything like that. Just do what we ain't got the guts to do. So they vote for someone, and he learns how he goes to Hollywood. He learns how to fucking act, put on a good show. He learns how to put some captain's bars and a good uniform on, walk around town, drive around a fucking army jeep, or a Hummer, or whatever the fuck else he's got. Throw a couple missiles behind on a trailer. Look at everybody kind of funny. And then the people enjoy this shit. They say, we have a true bona fide representative. I am sure fucking glad we forced this fucker to go to Hollywood and put on a good fucking act so that we could at least continue on until the day comes where the self might wanna. The self might wanna. The self gets forced to wanna. There it is. The self gets forced to wanna. As it is, I'm not a gambling man. I'm not into having too much risk at stake. I'm happy being a slave, waking up at 5 in the morning, or whatever the fucking 24 hours a fucking day shift, whatever the hell it is. I'm happy for that because God fucking damn, when I get off work, at least I get 8, 12 fucking hours or however many hours off to my fucking self where I can sit down on a fucking couch and fucking rest. And enjoy the pleasantries in life that there are until the next fucking day comes along. I am quite happy with that for now. Until I get forced into a situation. I ain't much for the game of risk here. And that's where it all started. That's where it all started. This Sicily brother thought body combination decided one day, because of a whim that he heard from some brother he never even heard before. Some dude from Trump, he said something on television. He said this, and for some reason it fucking stuck in the fucking brain. He said, it's better to have failed trying something than to have never tried it at fucking all. So I thought on that for a good fucking month, and I thought, good 2 months or so, maybe even 3 months, and finally I said, you know what? Fuck. I said, this is the opportunity right now. I got all kinds of money in the bank. I got ample opportunities to open up businesses or where the fuck. So I started spending. I had $150,000, and I said, well, fuck this. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try something I never tried before, and if I fail, then I fucking fail. At least I fucking tried. And then there's all these stories of these other people that they say, I fucking failed 5 times before I fucking got somewhere. And then another one comes along, I failed more than that. And I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, one's enough for me. Only problem was I didn't fail. I'm just having a setback. That's all. It's not a failure. It's a setback. I haven't failed yet. It's just been a setback. I put a big trade on. I put a big bet on the trade. I bet the whole fucking farm on this one trade. And so far it's been going against me now for past 15 years. And I'm finally getting to the point where it's starting to come back to break even. And I'm looking forward for it to continue on in the trend into what they call success. It's supposed to be called success. So yeah, I don't consider it a failure. It's just a drawdown. And then when one starts to study banking, it's not a failure in the banker's world, folks. It's just a drawdown. It's a setback. It's not considered a failure. In the banker's realm, when you study bankerhooddom, you learn there's this lesson that's learned there that could be learned there. This is not a failure. This is just a drawdown or a setback. This trade has plenty of potential to come back as long as you got your stop loss set. If you got your stop loss set, don't move it any further. If the trade goes against you and it stops out, then hey. But if it doesn't stop out, it starts coming back the other way. And all of a sudden, it keeps getting closer and closer to where the original position bet was placed. And one starts to analyze the charts and the trends and the corrections and all that other stuff, what's going on in the universe. And one could say, I see the beginning of I caught an Elliott. I'm catching a 2 on the Elliott wave at a 78.6 retracement. I'm catching a 2, and we're ready to ride the 3. It ain't gonna correct again till it hits the 4. So when one starts seeing what the banker sees, well, then it's not a failure. Then it's not a failure. And if the stop loss is set deep and far enough away from the original position, it gives it plenty of room for a drawdown, plenty of drawdown without stopping out. One can set it way the fuck away and think to himself, for sure, this trade is not gonna be fucking going down way the fuck down here, for sure. It's got plenty of space to come down and then go right the fuck back up, come down a little more, or whatever the fuck it wants to do, but eventually put that stop loss far enough away. But if one bets the farm, one doesn't need a stop loss because it'll just margin out at 50% and half the account will be lost at 50%. But if one, doesn't bet the whole farm, it all depends on how one feels, how much one can bet. One feels, well, I ain't gonna bet my family and my dogs and my chickens and my cars and my house and my property. I think I'll just bet a couple meals. I'll go without a couple meals this week. I'll place a bet, go without a couple meals this week and see where that gets me. Some people call that going a little bit faster. I'll bet a couple meals this week. I won't bet the whole fucking farm. I'll just bet a couple meals. And if I lose out on a couple meals, I get stopped out. The least that happens to me is I go hungry a couple days, and there's still going to be something at the store that I can go and get me a job. Slave, bend over, suck some dictionary, kiss some ass, pay some tax, and mosey my way down on the horse to the store to go buy some food and feed that hungry ass. Now, some people place different types of bets besides just skipping a meal. Some people decide to skip a spark plug change or an air filter change or a tire change or a brake change or an oil filter change on the car, and they place a bet and think, I could probably go another 20,000 miles on without having to change the oil or the air filter or the tires or whatever, till they get halfway down the freeway and something happens, and then they realize that they lost the bet. They got stopped out. They might even got a big pull out with a pullover. And the brother with a gun on his side might pull out his penny and measured the tread and said, God damn, looking kind of bald down here. Must be the new fashion these days. And then one would look at him and say, well, I got my lawnmower trimmer. They call that the bush trimmer whacker. It's sold on YouTube. It's called the Don't Nick the Sack trimmer. For those that love to be baby fresh on the tiring area. That way the officer can reach deep into the pocket, pull out a penny, and see if there's enough tread on those tires. And if he comes back and he says there's something bald down there, he might have other plans. Like he might make up something just to get him some rest. You never know. It all just depends on what kind of mood the officer is in and what kind of bet he feels like placing that day, whether or not he's going to win his bet or lose his bet. Is he going to lose a shirt or is he going to gain another shirt? Oh, there's plenty of judges sitting on benches and plenty of politicians placing big bets that they figure out that the people ain't going to figure out what the fuck they're doing. Nor are the people ever going to figure out how to fucking expose their ass or figure out how to quit voting for the ass or speak up or whatever the fuck. That's a pretty good bet for them. They've been winning at that one business as usual for centuries now. They place that bet like it's eating Cheerios, milk, and bull at the table every fucking morning. See what I'm saying? For them, they got trading down to a fucking science. They are rich as fuck accessing that treasury account. Rich as fuck with that bet that they're placing every day. Every day. It's a for sure bet every day. They don't have to put much thought into it. In fact, they could hire any dummy off the street and tell them just to come up with a robot program and have it go on automatic. They just hit the computer button every morning, keep it going 24 hours a day, where the fuck, and it's bringing in automatic profits every day on an algorithm on a computer robot program. Every day. Every day, every day, every day. Every day. Accessing what? Other people's labor, known as the public trust or the treasury account. And if one does not have no flag flying on the ship, then one has no business to dare say anything about what's going on. And there'll be an insurance policy on that too. There'll be someone on the church. There'll have a neighborhood watch program listening with an ear which neighbor is saying what. And if they've realized that this neighbor has no flag on the ship, then it's going to be an automatic pension grab. This brother looks like he's about ready to retire. Let's teach him a good lesson here. He ain't got no flag flying on the ship, and he thinks he can audit us. Well, let's just grab a little bit of his pension from him and see if he shuts up. But if the neighborhood watch from the church, from the devoted assessments program, if the neighborhood watch comes along and he sees someone talking and then he says, "Oh my God, that fucker got a flag flying on the ship." Well, let's move on to an easy pickings dummy. Fuck this. This will be a war that might not turn out the way I want it. He'll move on to the next neighbor and say, look, the next 25 neighbors, no flags flying on the ship. I think we'll just take them all out at once here. Just send them another bill. That'll send them a new bill. A new bill will come up with a new bill, and that'll at least ensure that if they were thinking about saying anything, that they'll set that one to rest for a while at least. So. And but that has become the norm. That's considered normal. and like is always it likes to be said, there isn't nothing wrong with living normal. Normal is quite a happy way to live. I mean, it at least gets at least 70 years out of the deal. At least 70 years. I mean, shit. I mean, that's it. That at least gives someone enough time to think things through and decide, well, what is it that I feel like I want to get involved with next? Besides being normal. There's an old joke that goes like this. What did it say? Something. It's written on the door. This joke was written on the back of the door. Let's go to the back of the door. Let's go to the back of the. Well, forget this let's stuff. Well, there's thought and body. What's it say on the back of the door here? What's it say? I was feeling better. I got over it. Now I'm feeling normal. That's the joke. That's the hilarious joke. I was feeling better, but I got over it. Now I'm feeling normal. All right? Well, obviously, when one analyzes, what is it like to feel better? Well, it ain't really ever going to be attained, because if feeling normal is the norm, then feeling better than normal isn't going to happen. Because to feel better is quite a risk to have to put on the table. If one does not put any skin in the game, then one is not going to attain anything. So the joke goes like this. I was feeling better, but I got over it. In other words, he realized, oh shit, this isn't all as cracked up as I thought it was going to be to feel better than the way I was. And then he said to himself, he says, I got over it. I went back to being normal. Well, that's tantamount to say, well, I just went back to living life the way it's always been for hundreds of years. And that is, there's always going to be someone more powerful than me to tell me what to do and recommend what I need to do. And if I don't do what he recommends, he has the option to hurt me. That's considered normal. Especially lest if I say something at the county board meeting, which is also known as the Neighborhood Watch Program. Who's on watch? Who? He's over there. Have you seen who? Yeah, he's over that way. Where's he at? He's over there. Yeah, this Mr. Who keeps fucking disappearing all the fucking time. I tried to track his ass down. He can never be found. Well, that's because Mr. Who is a fucking imaginative fucking storybook. It's a fairy tale to pacify. It provides dreams to get through the hard times. It provides dreams. Who done it? Who? He's over there. Where's he at? I went over there. They said he's over here. They told me to go over there. Trying to figure out where Who is. And I want to have a good heart-to-heart talk with Mr. Who. Well, Mr. Who is in the mirror. Mr. Who is in the mirror. That's why the moon comes around every 30 days. It's called the Michael Jackson Thriller. It's called Welcome to Thyself. What is it that one sees in the mirror? Well, gee, Mary, I think I see Jesus Christ. What is it that I see now? I see all hell breaking loose, Mary. And it's making me feel uncomfortable. You got a quaalude? Are you questioning me? I need a drink. I got some water right here. Need something stronger. Well, Jesus said he's got magic powers that turned that water into wine. Well, I ain't quite ready to be an auditor yet, so what else you got there? I need some whiskey. Whiskey, there you go. I need some whiskey. 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 Well, the sheriff said that he's hiring deputies. You could learn how to be a locksmith and go around and unlock people's doors for them and hope that they're not home with a gun inside there pointed at you. And oh yeah, they got air weapons these days that are just as powerful as powdered bullets. Automatic BB guns, and the BBs are almost the size of a .22 caliber pistol. Put enough air cartridge power behind those, set it on automatic, and there's enough to saw down a couple trees there. Probably just as powerful as an AK-47 if you put enough blasting power cartridge in that sucker. Oh, but remember, the vote for me sucker's gonna say, uh-oh, the peasants might be coming too powerful with BB guns. We're going to have to outlaw cartridges now. Oh, now we're going to have to outlaw bows and arrows and knives and no more hunting deer anymore. The peasants are getting too powerful and accurate at throwing knives across the tables within a hair's reach of sending a message to where one might think twice next time before they tell someone else what to do. Oh, we just outlawed all the knives. Now we're gonna everyone's learning how to go Steven Seagal, and they're learning the old ancient, what do they call that? Aikido. They're learning Aikido now. Well, we're gonna outlaw fucking arms and legs now. We're gonna make it military, mandatory, doctoral that all humans need to go visit and have all their arms and legs amputated. And they'll be sitting on a chair connected to a computer. It'll be the new kind of robot, amputees, because they learned Aikido from Steven Seagal's ancient mythological sleight of hand, reverse the balance on your ass and knock you to the ground with your own weight every fucking time you try something. Everyone's learning martial arts. Outlaw martial arts now. Our martial arts is now going to be outlawed. From it'll become a bill passed through Congress. They'll pass that one. It'll be no problem because they pay off all the judges. So, be no big deal. But it's all just fun and games. I mean, everyone knows what's going on. All the judges know. All the peasants know. Everyone knows what's going on. It's just that it's gotten to the point where people are just now beginning to feel just the slightest bit comfortable of mentioning a tiny clue to what everyone knows what the fuck obviously is going on around here. It ain't no fucking secret. Especially when it's brought up quite frequently. Look, there's Dr. Quincy from the 1970s television show that used to air quite frequently. Dr. Quincy solves all cases at the autopsy table. Solves all cases. Dr. Quincy. And he has a girlfriend, and her name is called Vibratora. Anyway. We're going to call this a video and publish this on YouTube. And hope that Susan Watch Kiki, that's the CEO to YouTube, Susan Watch Kiki. And hope that Susan Watch Kiki's dogs don't see the video, but of course it's on it. They got computer algorithms that can pick up everything that's said on every fucking video. And they always send me an email every time they say, we're going to age restrict this video, and it's on a whole different channel somewhere. Because, there's at least 20 YouTube channels up on YouTube that this Sicily brother has sparsed out all over YouTube, all over the fucking place. They especially love to go to this one particular YouTube, and they send an email and say, we're age restricting this video here. And they do it every fucking time I come out to the backyard and give an audit. It happens like fucking clockwork. Every fucking time. Every fucking time. It happens it's so much of a guarantee I can say it right here on the fucking YouTube video and be guaranteed for sure. There's going to be a YouTube from Susan Watch Kiki's guard dogs. The robot algorithm program says we're age restricting this video over here on another channel that you haven't visited in 20 years. It's been 10, 12, 15. What the fuck? 2012 was the last time that video channel was ever visited. 2012. And it happens to be a YouTube channel that they terminated And then I wrote them. I said, well, would you like to be arrested with a full military lien warrant? And they put it back up. But they took 2 other ones down and they replaced it with that one. They said, well, we give you this one and we'll take these ones down. But when they put it back up, they locked it so it can't be got into. It's permanently on YouTube. There's no access to it at all. They got full control of it, and it's got 5,000 videos on it. 5,000 fucking videos on it. 5,000 videos. And that's just one channel. And they got there from the year 2007 to the year 2012. Around that time. 2000. No. It was actually 16. They locked that thing up. That was when I started writing. That's what it was. That was just after the sheriff stole the house. Then I put an international warrant on the sheriff and some other people, state officials. I put them on a military universal a peace warrant. I put them under international peace warrant, which has the opportunity to bring a universal arrest if needed. But it likes to be used as leverage, though, right now. It's leverage. Because there ain't no use putting an end to everything around here that most everybody else likes to enjoy. Temporal night order. It isn't always nice to be able to go to the store and get something, go back home, get something going on right there and all that stuff, and enjoy what all this life has to give. If I was have to arrest if I was to have to fucking arrest everyone, I mean it would be a fucking war too. It would be an all-out fucking war. It wouldn't be an easy thing. It would be an all-out assault. It would be the war of no ends. It would be the universal war that would continue on forever, when what's really wanted is the peace. That's why it's called the peace warrant, because it is the warrant that brings the peace. There is no peace obtained if war continues, but there is a such thing as auditing everything, which is leverage to expose what the fuck is going on around here, and to expose everything in a way that's somewhat respectable and acceptable within the everyday conversations and backyard amusements. Somewhat acceptable. Oh, there every now and then there is a little red line going on. The motor does get revved up for a drag race, and there's a 1/4 mile sprint with a record break. A record break. But, it is nice to have leverage, something that gives leverage to the situation. Something that gives the bully to think upon, because the bully's thinking, well, shit, I'm kind of tired of all this war bullshit too. If this Sicily brother has come up with a fucking plan and he wrote it down on a fucking piece of paper and it makes a whole lot of fucking sense, and that's exactly what I see is going on. They read I wrote up a fucking plan, sent it to their asses, they read it, they sent it to the fucking Vatican, and they sent it to the extraterrestrial, and they all scratch their heads and say, Jesus fucking Christ, where the fuck has this fucker been all our fucking lives? Where the fuck has this information been all our fucking existence? Where the fuck has this information been? So, all I did, I just wrote them a nice song. I sent them a song. That's all an affidavit is. It's just music. It's vibrations. That's all an affidavit. It's just, I told them a story. I told them the best fucking Hollywood fucking story they ever fucking read in a fucking book. I sent them a fucking a wonderful Hollywood story. Something that they would look at themselves and say, Jesus Christ, not only is this fucker looking out to help himself, he's out to help fucking us too. So that we all fucking are sharing equally. What the fuck? It isn't just a dream to talk about anymore. He's got a real deal plan. He wrote it out on a fucking piece of paper. Something we could go to and look at every fucking day and study the game book and be reminded. As well as get backyard reminders and audits. And Susan Watch Kiki gives us clues when he sends them age restriction emails for his fucking military YouTube channel that he put up from the year 2007 to 2016. That was when Trump came to office. And then that particular YouTube channel went into full-bearing military status. It's locked down and there ain't no one touching it. No one touches it. No one can comment on it. I can't get into it. They can't get into it. I'm sure they could get into it if they want to, but they ain't getting into it. There has been nothing changed on it. They ain't fucking touching it. It's just sitting there. Because there's information on that channel where once the public starts to wake up and they come across that channel, word's going to get around. They're going to start watching all the videos and they'll be like, holy shit. Oh, God. This game plan has been around since 2007? Holy fuck. Where the fuck have we been? You know, it might be 100 years down the road from now. People finally get around to the YouTube channel. God damn, 107 years ago, this brother already fucking came up with a solution. Well, Sisterly Brother, he calls himself Sisterly Brotherly now. Sisterly Brotherly. Anyway, we're gonna call this a YouTube video. It's going to be published on YouTube. And the CEO, Susan Watch Kiki now. Susan Watch Kiki, and I'll tell you straight up, she was put there because that affidavit is called a cat. So they had to search around and come up with someone that sounds like the name of a cat. They call her Susan Watch Kiki. Kiki. Because they watching the cat. They got their eye all over the big tigress. The big tigress. The big Thai grizzly. The big Thai grizzly. And they realized that they don't want to mess with mama's cubs. They don't want to continue messing with mama's cubs business as usual. They're starting to realize, oh, retreat! Retreat! That word treat is a treaty. Instead of a trick, a treaty. Because that's what Halloween-weenie's all about. Trick or treat. Trick or treaty. That's what the affidavit is. That affidavit is a flag that flies on the ship. That affidavit storybook is a flag. It's considered a constitution. It's considered independence. Self-independence. Outside of the group. Self-independence. Because that's the original goal of the original foremothers. Although the forefathers thought it was dandy to try to see if they could keep the group going. The foremothers said, nah. The group is just the next phase to get it closer and closer to the self-independence. The self-constitution. Without a war. In other words, to bring some common sense into the situation. In other words, to change the conversation up a bit. In an acceptable, somewhat respectable fashion. Unless someone want to throw another fist across the airway. Anyway. Later.